get started. So I want to welcome everybody to today's presentation. We're really excited to share this informative presentation on social media and leveraging reviews for maximum impact. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping items I just want to cover for today's webinar. This is a one-way webcast, meaning only myself and my co-host here will have audio and video throughout today's presentation. However, we really want to hear from you. We have the chat and the Q&A section, and we'd love to hear your questions and comments as we're going through today's presentation. And we'll make sure we have a portion reserved at the end of the presentation for Q&A. So we'll be able to get all of your questions answered here. One of the most common questions we get is, will this webinar be recorded? Yes, we are recording the webinar today, and we will be sending out the recording and the slides to you over the next couple of days after this webinar. For those of you who may be less familiar, this webinar is brought to you by Caring.com. Caring is a leading online resource for senior living and senior care. Our organization was founded by caregivers for caregivers. Our flagship site, Caring.com, was created and launched in 2007 to equip family caregivers to make better decisions, save time and money, and feel less alone and less stressed when seeking care for their loved ones. Today, we have a portfolio of websites and referral services, and that is used by thousands of seniors and millions of seniors and their loved ones to find care. We also partner with thousands of senior living communities and home care agencies where we help them reach their target audience, people who are actively seeking care. One of the many reasons that care seekers turn to Caring, and one of the big reasons for having the webinar today, is our high integrity reviews program. We have over 375,000 consumer reviews. And we also recently joined the Age Tech Collaborative from AARP. So we're going to kick things off here with some introductions. My name is Megan Mulrain. I am the B2B Marketing Associate here at Caring, and I'm going to serve as the moderator for today's presentation. But you are here to see my three fabulous co-hosts here that will be running through today's presentation. From Hey There Social Media, one of our trusted partners, we have Emily Hay, co-founder and CEO, and her partner and COO, Allison Spitzer. And then from Caring, we have our Director of Reviews and Marketing, Denise Grob. You are in for a really great presentation today. So I'm going to have here, this is kind of a brief overview of some of the things that we will be covering today. But without further ado, I'm going to pass you on to Denise to get you started.
Well, thank you for that, Megan. Let me just make sure I can move the slide forward here. Oh, looks like I'm having a little bit of difficulty. Let me just... Oh, sorry, Megan. Can you move the slide forward, please? Thank you. Sorry about that delay there. I'm Denise Grob. I'm Caring Reviews Program Director. For those not already familiar with me, and if you're not familiar with Caring's history as a reviews leader, Caring.com hosts the longest standing, highest integrity senior services reviews program on the web. We have authentic feedback from seniors and their families about assisted living, in-home care, independent living, memory care, care homes, and more. In fact, we were among the first to offer senior living and senior care reviews online. There are some reviews on our site dating all the way back to 2008. I've been with Caring for nearly 14 years now. September will be my 14-year anniversary. And I have extensive professional experience in social media marketing and reviews in particular. I was part of the original expert panel who created Caring's review guidelines. I've been a leader in the program in the years since then, including as creator and director of the annual Caring Stars Award, recognizing service excellence based on reviews. And you may know, for those of you who don't, I want to make sure to emphasize this. In Caring's reviews program, it is senior care experts, not algorithms, who are reading every review before it gets published on the website. We are proactively and strictly enforcing the integrity-focused guidelines that are applied fairly across all ratings and reviews. We also have US-based customer service staff available by phone or email if help is ever needed with a review question or concern. And I've shown our reviews program email and phone number here on the slide, and we'll be sure to share that with you later as well. Megan, can you go ahead and move us forward? Thank you. Now, before we dive into the strategies and tactics for promoting reviews and social marketing, we have some excellent insights today from Emily Hay and Allison Spitzer at Hey There Social Media. We wanted to first cover what we call the modern drive-by to help set the context for why these reviews are so important for your marketing. Nowadays, your potential customers are perusing your online reputation before they're expressing interest, taking tours, or returning your calls, after they've seen enough reviews to persuade them to do so. Search engines and online directories are showing ratings as commonplace, and the reviews are helping businesses rank higher and stand out from competitors. In 2024, nearly all US consumers are seeking out online reviews when researching local businesses, and they're not just visiting one review site, they're visiting multiple. And it's not just the reviews they're looking at, they're also interested to see if your business and how well your business is responding to the feedback from your customers. It can help them feel more positively about doing business with you. This slide is showing you some of the latest data from search engine marketing firm Bright Local. They've been doing this study for over 5 years of US consumers. 88% now say they are likely to use a business that's responding to the reviews they receive online. And boomers and seniors are also using social networks like Facebook to learn more about your community or agency. So showcasing your reviews and testimonials there is also important for your sales and marketing success. I'd now like you to use the chat module and reflect and add your response to these questions. Are you aware of the reviews about your community or agency online and the story they're telling about your services? And for those of you that have positive reviews, how are you promoting that great feedback on your social? We'd love to hear from you. This is an interactive presentation, so please go ahead and add. Tell us the story that you are seeing about your business through the reviews online, or how you're promoting those reviews. We're going to go ahead and move forward, but please feel free to add chat as we move forward. Oh, that's great. We're getting some great answers. I really appreciate everyone sharing. And anything that anyone has any questions, we'll be sure to follow up with you. And we have a Q&A later as well. Megan, can you go ahead and move us forward, please? Okay, thank you. Now, earlier I mentioned the annual Caring Stars Award. This was the first Service Excellence Award in our industry. It's based on reviews, and now there are a handful of similar such awards. These types of awards can help you attract and convert new customers, just like the reviews themselves, and help you celebrate your staff as well as your current customer base. For Caring Stars, any community or agency with a profile on caring.com is eligible. There's no fees and there's no application process either. It's real easy if you have a stellar reviews profile. And that's the key. You have to be focused on getting reviews year round to build up that reputation. As many are commenting in the chat about the ways that they are getting reviews and promoting those reviews. That's excellent. Those are some of the tactics you need to do to earn an award like Caring Stars. And once you do, it's just like the reviews. It's a great way to generate positive PR and marketing buzz, especially if you're using this in your social media marketing campaigns. We've showing 2 samples here from Caring Stars 2024, social media memes or image shares that have real reviews, and they have the social proof of the Caring Stars badge, and they can also link right to some of those pages that have those reviews. So I'm sorry, Megan. For some reason, it's not moving forward for me. Can you go ahead and move forward? Thank you. This is just a sampling of some of the social media splash that the Caring Stars winners had in 2024. They promoted their award. We provided memes, the badge. Some of them created their own marketing materials. There were way too many examples to fit on one slide. This is just a sliver of the hundreds of communities and agencies nationwide that shared their status as the best senior living or best senior care in the nation in 2024. And two leaders did such an excellent job, StoryPoint Group and Ride It Home, in their Caring Stars campaigns that they achieved National Mature Media Awards for 2024. Deadline for Caring Stars 2025 is October 15th of this year. We're going to be hosting a webinar. We'll tell you more about that at the end of this presentation. All right, Megan, we can move forward, please. Thank you. One last thing, I want to give you some tips before we hand over to Emily and Allison to share specific strategies and tactics. Whether you promote your reviews or your reviews awards in social media, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Be sure to honor the copyrights and reprint requirements of the reviews website. For example, some sites prohibit republishing the entire review and ask that you excerpt it only. It's best practice to source the review and link to it. This helps the reader believe it's a real testimonial, especially when that review is hosted on an authoritative third-party review site. It's something I look for when I see people share reviews. Where is this review published? I want to validate that this is a real review. And most of all, in any related storytelling that you do about your reviews or your reviews awards, avoid disclosing private information about the senior or their family, especially any medical information. It's even better if you can get the reviewer's explicit permission to share their story or to share details that they didn't expose in the review. But even then, avoid anything protected under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act or HIPAA. We have a blog post, by the way, on how to respond to reviews and honor HIPAA, and that applies to storytelling and review sharing too. Reach out to reviews@caring.com for more information on anything I've shared. Okay, now without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Hey There Social Media.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Denise.
Yes, yes. I'll see if I have any better luck with the clicker than you did there. So I'm going to see if I can advance the slides here. There we go. Okay. Well, hey there, everyone. I'm Emily A. Hay, as Denise mentioned, and my business partner, Allie Spitzer, is here as well. We have the privilege and pleasure of speaking to you today on a topic that, of course, is near and dear to our heart as a social media company, social media content, but it's this beautiful match of leveraging those incredible online reviews for social content. We will build off a lot of what Denise said. We'll tell you a little bit more about us, but as you're looking right here at our action plan for today's webinar, the topic of today was content creation tactics to leverage reviews for maximum impact. Whoa, that's a mouthful. We're going to start with a broad storytelling approach. We just want to get everyone on the same page and inspired to come from a place of telling a story, not just make it a super transactional piece of content. We will definitely go into 3 types of content. We'll probably feel a little bit more like social media academics, educating you on the types of content that we use in all of our strategies and where reviews fit into those tactics, as well as specific tactics to bring content to life. So quick spoiler, we had the privilege of doing a webinar just last month with Caring.com. Again, Hey There Social Media is grateful to be a knowledge partner. And we covered some specific tactics for community engagement. So we will be weaving some of that content in. So I'm excited if this is new information for you. But if you have heard of a specific tactics we're going to cover today, then you'll be that much further ahead. So naturally, we want to make sure you are crystal clear of how Hey There can help you. And we will make sure to leave you with some specific steps you can take to claim a special offer today. So again, we'll give you a little intro, just a bit about myself and Allie, my business partner. So as you can see, I'm over a decade in the very urgent social media industry that we all know changes so much. But something that has held steady for all those years through social media is people trust people and people trust real reviews. So we have always taken, online reviews and word of mouth as our North Star and leveraged social media content from that. So as you can see, some of the industries that my business has worked in for, as we can see, over a decade: senior living. We've worked in the hospitality space. I will never claim to be a HIPAA expert, but we became very HIPAA aware by having a large list of medical clients. Allie, I know, feel free to share about you. I just think about your background in a very user review heavy industry.
Yes. So hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you again to everyone at Caring for having us on. Yes, the majority of my background has been in automotive retail, and I was definitely the champion on our side to I identified the importance of reviews across 3 states and a lot of dealership rooftops. And it is very similar in some ways to senior living and home care agencies, because it is a stressful thing to buy a car for a lot of people, and you need to build a lot of trust, a lot of social proof in order for them to walk through the door. And so I do empathize and completely see the value in making sure that not only, if you're getting great reviews that are each telling their own unique story, then, using them across the channels, it is a no-brainer. So we're happy to be here to explain a little bit more about that.
Thanks so much, Allie. And as you're all staring at this slide, our graphic off to the right is just to show you that, again, Hey There Social Media is a company that connects businesses that need social media expertise with a variety of expertly trained social media professionals. So whether they're strategists or managers, that is how Hey There works. Okay, so let's start with that foundation that I talked about, a storytelling approach. Again, it's very easy to get into, okay, we have the review, we just need to post it on social, done, good to go, check the box. But what we like to think of online reviews as they are, of course, they're personal stories. They are stories in different stages. They're also stories at different length. In one short paragraph review, you might hear about a person's total experience from searching for a home care agency, for example, all the way through a decision making, and maybe how happy the person is or unhappy after making that selection. So just keeping in mind, that an online review can be a very zoomed in part of a story or a complete story, but they are personal. And as I said, people relate to people, and personal stories are going to, of course, bring people in a way that's different than just sharing facts and features. I think a lot of products, specifically, we think of just let me know the features. What did you like about it? What worked? What didn't? But again, this is a richer, deeper service that you all offer. So personal stories can make a huge difference and actually can trump the features and functions. Of course, they'll have a stronger effect on attitudes, as I mentioned. And then we want to just rally you and encourage you today to take a storytelling approach with your social media content. So maybe you're in the marketing space, maybe you have a role today that is more operational focused, but anyone can be a storyteller. We tell our children stories, we've been told stories our whole lives, brands tell us stories. Sometimes storytelling, I think, can feel big and overwhelming, but sometimes I actually think telling a story is far less intimidating. It's less intimidating than thinking, what's the right strategy and message? Tell a story. So embrace that today as we go through this lens of how to leverage your online reviews. Okay, so we're going to speed into, well, okay, Emily, I'm on board. I'll be a storyteller, but where do I start? So one of the things that you can do is think about a unique value that your community delivers. Everyone has aspects that they want to shine a light on that can really be something you hear from a lot of happy customers and clients. So identify that thing, and then pick a review that speaks to it. So as you're staring at this sample testimonial off to the right, I would think of Home Helpers as being a company that helps people live worry-free. So whether that's family members, caregivers, the aging loved one themselves, it helps people live worry-free. So I think I give that, a pro tip or maybe even a bonus point that's directly connected to an emotion. It's not, well, it's a good price, so my fiscal brain says this is something that I really am happy about. This directly connects to an emotion. I really like to live at ease and have peace of mind and be worry-free. So this review, as you can see my oval highlights there, without worrying about my wife. So we're going to dig a little bit into how this particular review can be stretched into a story. But like I said, I zeroed in as this short testimonial tells a story and delivers an emotional value of being able to live worry-free. Allie, anything to add on this one?
Just real quick, we do have a question from Rebecca Meehan. One thing that gets me caught up in posting to socials is how posts are supposed to be very short. At least this is all the advice I see. So how do I tell a story with less words? It's a great question.
I love that. Okay, so Rebecca, perfectly timed question because we are going to take this example and let's talk about a storytelling approach. And spoiler, our next slide will show an example of what that ultimately looks like. So, by the way, I do acknowledge your point that, it can't be this long verbose caption, but we do find that that is a bit of a trend, especially on Instagram and even Facebook, that people will call it like a microblog. So again, we don't want to advocate for this multiple paragraph long caption, but Instagram and like I said, Facebook in particular can be a good place for a little bit longer of a caption than say other platforms, maybe if you're using X, formerly Twitter, or even other review sites that are just better for short snippets. So let me go into how to take this storytelling approach. So there's 3 things that you want to do. So remember, you picked a unique feature about your community or your business, and you want to pick a review that speaks to that. So if you want to write a caption that takes a storytelling approach, the first thing you need to do is start strong, and that would be ask an intriguing question. Once you've done that, it's important to set the scene. Of course, this is going to allow the reader to relate. It's going to allow the reader to see themselves in that reviewer's life. So being sure to introduce characters and give context of the problem the person was facing. People really relate, of course, to people, but they can empathize and say, yep, that's my problem. That's my worry all the time. And then the next part can be showcasing the transformation. So again, with brevity in mind, opening strong, setting a scene, and giving the transformation. And then that review can embody all of that. So it's important to highlight the results with the client's actual words. So I think it's easy to paraphrase for people, but keep it simple. Use the actual words from the review to demonstrate that transformation. So here's what that can look like. Again, I do not have this formatted specifically in a caption, so be a little loose with what network you could post this on. But here's an example of keeping that review in mind and how it could read. What if you could turn off your worry as easily as flipping a switch? That's starting strong. Then you want to set the scene. Chris was caring for his wife at home, shouldering the demands himself. Faced with the concern of leaving his wife on her own for even a short period of time, even the simplest daily tasks were no longer worth the worry. This made daily living an enormous burden and an endless cycle of worry. I'm sure this is what you all live every day. You hear people all the time that are living this cycle of worry. Demonstrate the transformation. Home helpers allowed Chris to turn off his worry like the flip of a switch. By enlisting our caregivers, the biggest benefit for Chris has been being able to do some other things that need done without worrying about his wife. So on this next slide, just want to bring that testimonial back to you, that transformation about his own words, authentic words. So he can do some other things that need to be done without worrying about my wife. So leveraging that, here is a number of things you can do. So leverage, work smarter, not harder. If you have a piece of content like a review that you can write a caption for, it could also be turned into a video, specifically a reel, specifically a video posted on Facebook. It can inspire memes, photos. Everyone seems to be quite good at Canva these days if you're making social content. So that is something that you could zoom in and leverage in a number of visual pieces of content. Blog posts. So I'll go back a slide. Each of these sections, starting strong, setting the scene, and a transformation, they could be stretched into a couple of paragraphs. So now you have a full blog post that lives on your site and pulls in some SEO. And as I said, is a different piece of content that is from that same review. It's also something in email marketing campaigns. So whether you're looking at maybe it's themed months, themed quarters, it's the month of tranquility. It's the month of peace of mind. So here's a story of how we delivered peace of mind to a gentleman named Chris. And so you could do a whole email blast, an email newsletter that tells the story. And you say, one of the ways that we're celebrating Peace of Mind Month is by really shining a light on how we remove worry from our clients' lives. a paid ad. Allie and I just gave a presentation yesterday about leveraging your organic content and your paid and having the two merge together for a variety of outcomes. It can inspire a whole paid campaign. Paid and organic done correctly is, paid can also double down and really shine a light on organic content that's performing well. So if you have this organic review, it's something that can inspire an ad campaign. And it's also a basis for a go live. So that's a hat tip back to our previous webinar that we did. We talked about going live, and we will talk about that today. But think about the idea of removing worry. It's something that so many people want. Worry is something so many people experience, and it can really inspire a whole topic to do a live video for. We'll get into where you do that and how you do that in a minute. Allie, anything to add on that?
We do have a few questions. A general question, what is SEO? We mean search engine optimization. It's making sure you have a lot of authentic, good, relevant content that will make search engines find you easily as you become more of a resource. So that's something one example of SEO. And then another comment, would love to the link to the previous webinar you just spoke of, and sure we can get with Megan on that.
Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. Yes. And thanks, Rebecca, for asking your question. SEO, we got it. Perfect, Michelle. Search engine optimization. Okay. Next, let me get my clicker going again. There we go. Okay. So we want you to keep in mind, remember, smarter, not harder. We want you to leverage content, but we also want you to remind yourself that social media is like a super highway with people merging on and off all the time. It's not like a book. It's not, here's the start of the story and here's the end of the story. And once I have told the story, the book is shut and that shall go back on the shelf. You're competing all the time for people's attention. And I know that on your end, you might feel like, I've used this before, I feel like I've said this, but it can be a really effective tactic once you leverage part of a story to drill down and tell it a number of different ways. So again, just giving you the permission to not feel like, oh, we've done this before. It's a good strategy to leverage. And not only can you use different parts of the story, you can, of course, retell them. And we just gave some examples of some different formats that you can tell these review stories in. Okay, I must be getting this thing a little mad at me. Think the next one's coming? Sorry, everyone. Okay.
Oh,
all right, let me go back one. Okay. All right, so we're shifting gears. We talked a little storytelling. Now we're going to get into the types of content, just because, reviews are, we'll get to the next slide. What type of content is a review? So let's talk about these three types of content. So again, this was hugely top of mind with a presentation we gave yesterday. There is attraction content, there's nurture content, there is conversion content. So attraction content, as you can see, think about that as casting the widest net. I'm putting content out into the social web to get people to see it. I want high impressions. I want to reach a lot of people. Notice the goal isn't even, I want a follower out of it. With attraction content, it's getting people to see the posts. So again, that can be something that you leverage trending audio. Everyone feels like, oh, well, here's a song I can put with a reel on Instagram and leverage trending audio to, again, attract new eyes to your content. Targeted words in the post, in the caption. We just talked about SEO, so search engine optimization value in a blog post, because the blog post lives on your site. But in social media, you can also use plenty of targeted keywords in your captions as hashtags, and that can be something that gets that content seen by more people. Nurture content. So again, you've attracted someone and maybe they follow, maybe they don't, but perhaps it's the second time they're seeing your content, and it's the equivalent of starting to build a relationship. So this is where the person does something with the content. Hey, you've seen it. Am I resonating? Are you saving this content? Are you going to leave a comment or share it with someone? Are you taking a screenshot of it? So that, again, nurtures the relationship. The person obviously is starting to feel a little bit more of a connection. You're an acquaintance. You're maybe not a friend quite yet, but you're starting to build this relationship. And I love this point. Thank you so much, Denise. You talked about reviews when leveraged as nurture content. They will make your value prop more believable. So I might be out there saying, we remove worry, we give peace of mind. But when one of our actual customers leaves a review talking about how I was able to live worry-free or I can do what I need to do without worry, it, of course, really drives home that value prop in a completely different, authentic way.
Just a few things, a few comments.
Sure. Thank you.
Marie Howard, we will happily follow up with you in sidebar. And we'll just keep kind of on pace with a couple more questions. Tiffany, do you have to use the exact verbiage on the review, or can you alter it in a way to leverage your post?
Oh, I feel like that's a Denise question.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that, and I was hoping you would ask me to answer that.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is that you follow Emily and Allison's tips for the storytelling in your own words without altering the actual review. So when you show the review as an image or you quote it, you excerpt it according to their exact words and link to that source so that they can see that's a real review. If you're rewriting customers' feedback, it undermines the credibility of the testimonial. You can use your own words in the storytelling and the lead up, but I wouldn't alter the actual quote of the review. That's my advice.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
I agree. And again, the caption, the storytelling is the context. You're
That's
providing some context. So that can change in the context in which you're sharing, but keeping that review as it reads, I completely agree with.
I also want to add, if you don't mind, all three of these items. I love that you called them out because reviews do all three for communities and agencies in senior living and senior care. They attract the prospective customers, they help them nurture them, and we know just based on measurement we've done over 5 years that reviews really drive increased tours and conversions. So all three of these are part of the package with online reviews, and then social just amplifies it even more.
Awesome,
Thank
Denise.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Loving the questions. I have another one here. With site traffic and engagement being crucial to measuring the success of a company's social media manager, do you see sizzle reels and calls to action experiencing the same impact in the healthcare industry as it has in other laissez-faire industries?
Glad you speak French. Is that a French word?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great question. So when we talk about calls to action, well, that's a good segue even with conversion content. So I guess one of the things you're asking here, Justin, the success of social media, sizzle reels and call to action experiencing the same impact. Well, again, a sizzle reel might be attraction content all day long. The person sees it, they stop their scroll, then they move on. Maybe they don't save it. They certainly might not follow, let alone, take an action from that attraction content if that's just what it was to do, is to just attract some attention at that moment. But in this conversion content, we talked about that is where you have earned the right, 30% or less of your content, to ask the person to do something. So whether that is visit our site, follow us, leave or schedule a tour. Denise had this great advice that a call to action is a perfect leave a review. No, use calls to action to ask people at that moment for a review. So I think that, when you ask about the success of a company's social media, I think if your conversion content is getting people to leave a review, then it has worked. You just might not get someone to leave a review or convert if you're just doing attraction content. But I hope I haven't muddied that question up too much there. Well,
Okay,
thanks.
Justin says good.
Okay. Okay. And then I know we do have some time for Q&A towards the end, but I do love these questions. And Allie, you were probably going to tee this one up. Clay asked.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the best way to get reviews? Oh, I wish there was one answer for that. We have great reviews, but they are old. Do we solicit? Denise, do you want to take a first crack at that?
Sure. And we can also follow up directly with Clay or anyone else that has this question. it will depend on the reviews platform. On Google,
Mm.
they have an online submission option. For Caring, they could submit via online form or by phone. We know that not all seniors have an email address and are comfortable yet online, even though the majority, thanks to the pandemic, are using online resources. We still have that service available for seniors if they'd like to give a review by phone. I also loved, Emily, how you said earn the right for that CTA. That's really important. And setting the emotional connection with the social audience is going to help with the effectiveness of the sizzle reel or the call to action, I would say. So just to support what Emily said earlier, it's going to depend on how well you handle your storytelling, your emotional connection, and your CTA. And then the best way to get reviews, there's lots of different ways, like Emily said. And I gave you some of the actual tools, but we have entire webinars on scripting and personas. So reach out to Reviews at Caring. I can provide more information for you that.
Thank you so much, Denise. Okay, well, keep us moving. And luckily, our next slide is pretty much covered because we asked a quick question. See if I can get this to come up here. What type of content would you consider reviews? And the answer is that reviews are really all three types of content. We've just seen with certain projects, with certain clients, there can be a disconnect of, well, did the content do what we wanted to? And sometimes the primary problem is someone is expecting the content to do a conversion, and someone is saying, well, this was just attraction content. You know, we're thrilled with the thousands of views. And then someone else might say, but we didn't get a single inquiry. Well, they had very different goals. So reviews, you know, depending on the nature of the review and how you use it, can really put an actual review into any of the three types of content: attraction, nurture, or convert. Okay. So with that said, you know, make sure that you know, from down into the granular detail of planning a content calendar. You know, there's content categories and buckets of content, but just keeping in mind, what is the goal of the content? Are we trying to attract, nurture, or convert? And like Denise and I are just going back and forth about that, make sure that there isn't too much conversion content, because then again, it might be too overwhelming and put people off. But like I said, that can make the difference in, was this content successful or not? Okay, so I'm laughing because I'm thinking how Denise was giving me such a beautiful framework for what reviews do with this particular slide. Reviews inform your content. You know, reviews are really inexpensive R&D. You know, reviews tell you exactly what needs fixed at your business, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's real feedback that you can inform, you know, business decisions as well as content. So one of the things we all know, social media has been around long enough. We know that video is an important format of content, but live video is an even more important format to have in the content mix. And that is, again, what we covered in the webinar before. And really, it's because live video can do a number of things. As you can see here, people are simply watching more live video than a static video or a video that's already complete and published. So video just makes that authentic opportunity for a prospective client to know, like, and trust a business. So if you have this review, you know, going back to the one about, I was able to do the things I need to get done without worrying about my wife. If that is a unique value to your home care agency or your senior living community, then that can inform, we're going to do a going live series, or just one go live. You know, don't even overwhelm yourself and say it must be a series. We'd like to do a go live about how we deliver peace of mind, how we help our clients live worry-free. So it gives you that opportunity, as I mentioned previously, to shine a light on that unique value prop. And going live as a strategy, as I said, just builds trust and credibility. So again, Denise, when you broke it out as reviews inform your content, any thoughts to add on that?
Yes. So any trends that you're hearing in the reviews? So they love your dining. That tells me you have an opportunity to do a video, blog post, social media about your chef. Do a Q&A with your chef, because it is a source of positive feedback in the reviews you're receiving. So those reviews can give you clues about, like what Emily said, what's working at the business to attract, nurture, and convert, the three goals, depending on which one you're after. These reviews can help guide you in your content strategy. So it's not just promoting the review, it's using the insights that the reviews are telling you about your business to develop content. It could also be that you're learning from your customers that they're dissatisfied with an area of your business, but they're not really understanding an aspect of care needs and memory care or assisted living. There are some family members that don't fully understand it yet. So that might be another way for you to use the feedback you got in the reviews to do educational content on your blog or your email newsletter, not necessarily speaking directly to that reviewer, but to address the concerns in an educational manner, inspired by the actual review. And this webinar itself was inspired by feedback we received in a survey that Megan ran. So this is a good example of how you use feedback to drive content.
I love
Thank
that.
you, Denise.
Thank you.
We
Thank
have
you.
a few questions that are
Okay.
more tactical or back end questions. One is there a way to set up a business on the business website to click to write a review? Because sometimes it's confusing to tell the customer to do it on Facebook or Google. And I've been there. I totally understand that. So just maybe having a link. I mean, whether it's at the top or the bottom of the website or, visible across pages.
Yes, we see this on community website and agency websites. I see it in email signatures. I see it in newsletters. It's share your feedback or review us. And then you have each of the logos or the names linking directly to the review submission form for that website. So I saw there was a question about, can I just collect the reviews and post them everywhere? No, you cannot. Most review platforms don't allow duplicative content like that. It's actually called review spam. It has a negative connotation. So it's original content, and you aren't collecting the reviews and posting it. That is consumer feedback on authoritative third-party sites. So you're just making it easy for them to add their review via the link. So like Allison said, it can be difficult to navigate. Don't force them to navigate. Just give them a link directly to the review submission form. And you can do that from your website. You can do that from social, newsletter, email.
And Michael, to address the first part of your question, I know that, at least in automotive, there was an automotive industry specific, compartment or whatever software that would funnel all of our reviews into one place where we could manage the status, and all of that. But you can't, just to Denise's point, we would kind of like round robin feed them to different review sites, via email and other ways, but we would only look at the back end of how many we were getting in a platform that was specific to the industry.
We have that in senior care and senior living too, and Caring is integrated with 6 of those platforms for monitoring and responding to reviews.
Love it.
Great.
Okay. All right, I'll keep us going here again. Thank you. These are really robust questions and
Yes.
providing context to what we're covering. So again, a little bit more just on the going live tactic. This screenshot is what Denise was referring to, that we actually did a LinkedIn Live that was about going live, but we leveraged live video. Megan and I, we leveraged live video to cover a topic that we had, thanks to Megan, had received feedback from real caring partners that they wanted information about. So I hope I've pled my case why live video, of course, is a strong tactic. It's not as scary as it might sound. It actually can be, I have the next slide here. We'll talk about where that can go and how long that can be. But really, you can almost reverse engineer this. Like, well, the idea of creating a live might sound overwhelming. Well, start with the review. And like we said, pick a review, pick a unique value prop of your community that you want to shine a light on, and say, how can we make a live about this? And this next slide here, so this has some best practices. So as I keep talking about going live, just think of these big three networks, right? Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We happen to use LinkedIn Live. The screenshot is one that I was on with a couple other people. So you can't have multiple parties. Don't feel like it just needs to be your face talking to the camera. But you can do this, as I said, on very common networks. I like to think about going live on Facebook or Instagram is almost like having a FaceTime call. It's okay if the video is a little shaky. It doesn't have to have this full podcast sort of production quality, while a LinkedIn Live does have that. A LinkedIn Live might feel a little similar to listening to this webinar. So planning who you want to go live with. So maybe, we talked about going live with a chef, or if you get a great review from someone, find out if that person would want to hop on a live with you. Hey, educate them on what you're referring to, talking about we're going to leverage a video feature that's streamed out through the internet. Of course, letting them know what that is about, getting full permission. But what we want to go live about, say, hey, we are very proud of the fact that we were able to help you live without worry. And so we want to talk a little bit about that on a video. And then the when to do that. So I could go both ways. Using live video might be during your slow season because maybe you have a little more time to put some focus to it. But I also would say when could be a little inconvenient. Maybe do live videos when you are really busy and when you have new reviews coming in. Or if there are different themed months that we talked about, that could be a natural way to leverage certain hashtags and trending topics to come up with your live schedule. These are very tactical tips, but don't do a one and done. Hey, we did a live, it didn't work. Like, okay, what are you measuring? Are you measuring it based on people that tuned in? Are you measuring it based on the fact that you were able to put it on your website and link to it, use it through an email blast? It depends what you're trying to accomplish, but leveraging that video that comes from a live is certainly something you should plan for. And then Denise brought this up. A live doesn't have to be long. So don't mind the fact that my screenshot happens to show a 30-minute live. You can do a live that lasts a couple of minutes. It's something 5 minutes, 10, whatever feels right. Especially on LinkedIn. I mean, there are some algorithm points to be said on certain social networks. Not to go too far off topic, but that's one of the best practices on TikTok is having longer lives. But hey, getting a live started, using it as a tactic is a huge win to start with, and you can always go for longer lengths of time as you start to feel more comfortable. Okay, so as let me see if this is going. Gonna get to the next slide, everyone.
We do have a few questions.
Okay.
One is more for Megan on getting a copy of the webinar. Can anyone go live? How did you get so comfortable in front of the camera?
Oh, can anyone go live? So
Yes.
I mean, I say yes because yes, you can learn the skill and there's authenticity, to going live. Don't feel like you have to have some, massive public speaking career to be able to leverage live video. I think it makes it much more authentic and relatable. Where to go live, with Instagram, there's a go live feature right on your profile. Specifically, I think about LinkedIn, you can go live through a company page. And that was what Megan and I did on the Caring LinkedIn company page. There are a couple of steps that you have to go through to check and see if your page has access to it. It usually was follower base. It also, when it was a new feature, you had to make sure that your page had that feature. But it's something you can tell very quickly. Almost like when you create a new post, there should be a little video icon. I know on Facebook there is that says, go live. Are you sure you want to go live? Go live. And then with LinkedIn Live, you actually are streaming through a third-party tool. Now I'm really in the weeds, but I'll keep it short. You can stream through a Zoom. So Megan and I use Zoom to go live on LinkedIn. And then this particular screenshot, there's another pretty common software tool called StreamYard that a lot of people will use. So if you have figured out how to get to this webinar today, you're tech savvy enough to be able to go live. All right. Any other questions over here, Allie?
Should I save the rest or do you want to finish? Okay.
I think we should move forward with the interest of time and finishing.
Yeah,
sure.
We have only 10 minutes.
Okay, so what we have here, trigger happy. Okay, We just have a couple of content examples. So more tactics, bringing content to life. So yes, visual content. I know in Denise's portion of today's webinar, she showed some memes, made with reviews. I give this all the stars. It's visually appealing. It has a person's face. It has stars. It triggers emotions when I actually start to read the reviews. So I think this visual content is very strong, credible. Very much a great point of Denise's that we pointed out this piece of content was leveraged on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And think about the different audiences that saw this content. So whether it's your referral network, specifically through your LinkedIn business page, talking more to a B2B audience, so referral network. And then you can, of course, reach seniors and families, people that are making decisions every day to ultimately purchase from you, and caregiving staff. So that's something, Allie, I know we talk a lot with some automotive clients about using reviews and social media in general as a recruiting tool. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be leveraging reviews that speak to the culture of working someplace. So anything on that point for you, for you, Allie, to add? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, just the social proof is so valuable. And oftentimes, it's just a matter of being top of mind. I'm sure everyone on this call is doing great things already within, the culture of your location. And it's just next time you're having an internal birthday party or something like that, just record it, make a story out of it.
Thank you. So again, this, I put it in the category of a meme, right? It's a visual meme. But on LinkedIn in particular, using carousels, those are a really strong content format right now on LinkedIn. So as you can see, this quote is from 2023, but just showing that LinkedIn PDF carousels are one of the most rewarding formats on the platform. So when you create a post on LinkedIn, it's almost like adding an attachment, like in an email. So there's the little picture icon where you can attach a picture, but you can add document. And if you upload a PDF, then it becomes bigger and it has the little arrow where you can advance it like a carousel post. So very in the weeds with a specific tip on how to format your content there, but it's working on LinkedIn. Okay, this next one here, as it loads, another content tactic probably. All right. This one, as I say, this was probably our post from Instagram. So this Assistance Home Care leveraged their big news, that they had this caring superstar acknowledgement, recognition, using it in a social media post. So again, this screenshot is from Instagram. So if you're posting on Instagram, don't limit it to just a grid post. There are things you can do to leverage the contents of this piece in a reel, in a multiple series of reels. What I look at, honestly, I mean, this is a little busy, no criticism to it. It's just, there's a lot of text. I make a lot of text slides. How can we break this down into more visual pieces that people can absorb quicker? And maybe it's taking something like this and breaking it into 3 different images. Or as we said, making a video of these. So I think there's 3 pieces of news here. A whole reel about making a difference for seniors and their families. A whole reel about, hey, Assistance Home Care receives that 2024 Caring Superstar Award. And then this 3rd piece right here, not only did we receive the award now, but it's our 4th Caring Star to date. So just looking at ways to further extract the best news possible out of this. And of course, telling that story, retelling that story, and cross-pollinating, leveraging this on multiple social networks is the best practice all day long. Denise, did you have anything to add to this one?
I was just going to say what
Thank
you
you.
just said also speaks to the question that we got earlier of, I thought social had to be short. You just gave an example of how you could take they have a lot to say, but you can digest it into multiple posts and multiple uses, telling a story over, not just get it all out at once, but over each reel, right? Or each post, a series, if you will. I think it's an excellent point.
Thank you. Yes. Congrats again. This is such a great piece of content, a great award. Okay. As we move on here, so again, just a few parting thoughts. That, it's easy to get in the trap of what do we want to post about today? What feature, what do we want to highlight? But evoking, emotions is something that is a good litmus test for all of your content creation. And how do I connect with this audience? So just keeping that as a North Star with your content strategy is a smart move. And I love this quote. She might not remember, she being your customer avatar, she might not remember what you said, but will remember how it made her feel. So as you're educating and informing and attracting and nurturing, how are you making the end reader feel? That's what she'll remember. We'll give a quick commercial, and then I think we have a few minutes for some Q&A, but just again, thank you for having Hey There Social Media here, to the Caring team. The two ways that we work with our clients are either working with them or doing the work for them. So if you are the person in charge of social content, if you are the person who is resonating the most with these tips, because maybe this is what you do day to day, if you need a fresh lens, if you need a strategist to come to the table with you, and like we said, do this work along with you, we work in a number of ways, whether that's one-on-one, whether that's training, whether that's even an office hours, help desk sort of format. That is a way that we're very comfortable working with our clients. And any of the things that I just mentioned, you could have us do for you, whether it's ongoing or a one-time project. Naturally, we like to hear a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish in order to come up with the best plan to be able to help your home care agency or your senior living community. Okay, before we do special offer, let's go back to some Q&A. Is that a good next step, Denise, as we wrap up?
I think so. And I think
Okay.
Megan's going to take us through Q&A.
Yes, I've been monitoring the chat here. Let me take a look.
I think we got to except
Did we
for
get through
one
them?
question.
Yeah, I think you got for almost everything except for
It was Jennifer He's question.
I have it queued up. Would you like me to go ahead and take it?
Yes, that would be great, Denise.
Okay, so the question is, there have been times when I get a quote story for a review, but the resident may not have a smartphone or a computer. So I have offered to write the review for them. I even added their name and phone number. When I have done that, the review was not approved and never posted. Why does it matter where the review originates from, as long as it's approved by the resident? I'm glad you asked this question. I think integrity and authenticity and being able to speak freely are really important values that most review platforms hold with their guidelines. That means the senior writing in their own words about their experience without any undue influence. Unfortunately, I've taken calls over the last 14 years from both seniors and their family members who tell me that they felt pressured to give a review, that they didn't really want a review, they were told what to say. Those are thankfully the exceptions to the rule, but those are situations where they weren't freely giving feedback, which is what you want. You want open, free, honest feedback, and writing the review for them doesn't do that. So most review platforms will prohibit that. And Yelp, as an example, even has a policy that you can't ask for reviews or do campaigns asking for reviews. They are very strict about that. If they catch it, they'll take down the reviews. So I would just help the seniors' family members, help them give a review, or take advantage of Caring Reviews by phone service, where the senior doesn't have to have a smartphone, a landline, any regular phone. They can talk to a Caring Review collection agent, and we will collect that review directly from the senior so that they can participate in giving their feedback about your services directly to Caring in their own words. Is there
And
any?
I'll just,
I was just going to say, Allison probably has
I'll
some.
just piggyback on that because, of course, being car dealerships, there was a lot of traffic, a lot of people trying to leave reviews. If they're on our Wi-Fi, If it's on our IP address, it doesn't count because then it looks like it's some sort of review fraud, that it's us as the business representing ourselves as a customer. So you could be running into that as well. If they do have a family member, it seems like you are trying to do this at your location, your place of work. You can ask the family member that might have a smartphone to make sure they're not on the Wi-Fi. That's pretty much all you can do because that will automatically kick it in any review system.
Yeah, I mean, the effort you're taking, I totally commend it. And I think this might just be a tech blocking, right, situation, that it's not a matter of taking their words out of context or not doing it word for word. I think it's a lot of what Ali said. And I love Denise's best practices of other ways you can get that review up by saying, hey, you know, your loved one has already said all of this. If there's some way to have them make a quick online profile, again, I know it can be a bit of a heavy lift, but hopefully it yields the effort. It's worth it.
And with that, I will pass it back to you, Emily, to kind of give your offer and we can go ahead and wrap this up.
Yes, look at us, top of the hour. So again, thank you all for still being on live at the top of the hour. So we are offering for basically 5 individuals, so 5 senior living communities or home care agencies, to get a storytelling content review. It's nice to have a fresh lens sometimes, right? You might be doing a great job with your social media, but hey, once in a while to just say, hey, are we doing a storytelling approach? Is there something we could do differently? We, as a social media team of experts, we'd love to be able to give you some feedback and give you reviews. So there's 3 ways you can claim this offer. You can send an email to our info@heytheresocialmedia.com email address. Nothing fancy. Feel free to put storytelling in the subject line. You can also text the word storytelling to this phone number here, and this QR code will simply take you to the contact form on our website, which is heytheresocialmedia.com. So hopefully we've made it easy for you. We're optimistic that the 5 are probably already gone because thank you. We had a lot of people respond in June with our other webinar. So hey, we will not leave you hanging. If you do contact us, we'll follow up. We'd love to talk a bit more. And based on these questions today, I am very optimistic that we'll have some great discussions because you all are bringing a really strong storytelling game to webinars like this one.
Perfect. And then Denise.
Yes, I just wanted to say that was very nice of Hey There Social Media to make that offer. And you may have noticed on their side and my side a QR code, which is one of the questions we got earlier in the webinar was how can I make it easy for them to add reviews? QR codes is another way you can do it, but they do need a smartphone or one that lets them take a picture or access the link via the image. We wanted to let you know the Caring Stars 2025 deadline is October 15th. We're having a webinar on August 22nd on how to qualify for Caring Stars. So if you're interested in earning that award, please join us for that session on the 22nd. It's free of charge as well.
Perfect. Well, then with that, we're going to let all of you get back to your day of helping seniors. And thank you all for attending today. And the recording and the slides will be in your inbox in the next couple of days. Thank you to Emily, Allison, and Denise as well for your expertise this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Oh my
Our
gosh, look at all
pleasure.
these people. Yes, Maria, Jem,
Yes.
Shelley, Heidi, Kelsey, Morgan, Ratika, amazing. Thank you for all your
Thank
wonderful
you.
feedback. We so appreciate it.
And if
Have
you
a
want to
great day.
register, and if you want to register for the webinar on the 22nd, you can scan the QR code on the screen.
And we'll be sending it out via email.
Yes, we will.
Thank you. Oh, Brianna, Alexandra,
Thank
amazing.
you.
Justin, Tom, Julie, thank you. You guys are great. Thank you for spending the hour with us. And thank you, Denise and Megan, for making this happen.
Same to you and Allison. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.